Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by RE/MAX. Find your dream home at RE/MAX.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Joining us for today's broadcast, Ken Schrader will be up here in the booth. 15-time winner, 15-time pole winner also in the ARCA Racing Series. As you see the field moving down the back stretch, the starting grid was going to roll across the top of your screen. Dakota Armstrong and Mikey Kyle making up row number 1. We take a look at our Burger King track description of this 2.66 mile superspeedway, guys.
They said, let's make the biggest and the baddest racetrack in the world, and they did it here. 2.66 miles, 33 degrees banking. Kenny, they repaved this thing 3 or 4 years ago, and it is unbelievably smooth as glass.
It was pretty good before, but now you just use any part. If it's black, you can race on it, and the guys do the apron too.
Take a look at our race analysis. We're going 94 laps, 250 miles.
As you can see, the pit window from 55 to 65 laps. That means these guys can run the majority of this race, you know, and on one pit stop. So we may see guys come in around lap 30, lap 40 and say, hey, that's all for me. They said the tires are really, really good. No issues there.
Hoosier's been bringing good tires, and it would be real, almost for sure the winner's going to do this on one pit stop, I believe.
We're going to be riding along with a few different drivers, 2 of them to be exact. One of those being Joey Coulter. He's going to start in the 16th position.
We're also going to ride along with Steve Arpin, winner of the last 2 races. He has Mike's Hard Lemonade on board, and he will start from the 5th spot, going for 3 in a row.
The field making their way through the tri-oval. This is one of the unique things about Talladega Superspeedway. Normally we would see the start-finish line right where they are now. They have to come about 200 yards out of that tri-oval. Green flag in the air. We're underway. .42 cars making their way into turn 1.
Inside road now looks to have a bit of an advantage. Dakota Armstrong from the pole leads the field.
Once a group gets in single file, they're gonna take off.
If you were watching speed just moments ago when the Sprint Cup cars were on the racetrack, we saw 2 cars hooked together and pull away from the pack. Can we see the same thing in the ARCA Racing Series?
I don't think you can. Can you, Kenny?
No, I don't think we're going to see it near as much. The bigger the group here, the more speed you're going to have. You can get 8 of them bumper to bumper. That's gonna make for a faster pack.
Dakota Armstrong looks to be leading the first lap here at Talladega. Right behind Justin Marks, currently 2nd in the point standings. Then it's Steve Arpin, who is our point leader, running in the 3rd spot.
Dakota won the pole at a speed of 186.5 miles an hour. We will see laps run this race well upwards of 190 miles an hour when these cars get hooked together.
Bottom of the racetrack looks to be the preferred line now. We know that they can run, as Ken said earlier, anywhere on the racetrack, but they're going to have help if they're going to venture away from the double yellow line.
Yeah, it's not like you can just move up, and if people don't go with you, you're definitely going to go back. You have to have someone behind you pushing you, and if there's only 2 of you, you're not going to make the mile an hour that a group of 8 of you is going to make.
Remember, Dakota said he's just going to stick to the yellow line there and see what happens. There's Bobby Gerhardt leading that group on the inside.
Sticking to the yellow line has worked. Another thing that works at super speedways is stay near that number 5 Lucas Oil car of Bobby Gerhardt. 7 times he's been to victory lane. One of them here 6 times at Daytona. So all of his wins have come on super speedway racetracks.
There's Joey Coulter, the 16 car. I was talking to his father yesterday, and he said, when are we going to get a little bit of luck? They've had such a horrible start to the season. Really, really bad luck. They've run extremely well. So just stay with it. You have a great program.
Gerhardt in front of the 2nd pack.
Yeah, we see that front pack all got in single file, and they've stretched away from that 2nd pack just a little bit. When that 2nd pack does sort out what order they're going to be in, they'll catch them instantly.
Gerhardt has about a 1.5 to 2 car gap between he and the 60 of Patrick Sheltra just behind him.
I believe that's Mark Thompson to Patrick Sheltra's outside in the 66 car. There's Ricky Carmichael now pulls up right behind Patrick Sheltra in the Monster Chevrolet.
This is out front. That's Dakota Armstrong in the 22, Justin Marks in the 32, Steve Arpin in that 55. Just behind him, the 51 of James Busher. Busher's had success on big tracks as well.
Sure has. He won in this very car at Daytona last year, so he knows the car. He finished 4th at Daytona this year in that same car.
Ken, you got a horse in this field. Well, Bill Baird running.
Bill Baird's out there. He's in the back of that second group now, trying to sort out as soon as they get it sorted out. But you know, he was a former ARCA champion. It's been a few years. He only runs a couple races a year now, but a lot of experience.
Again, that green number 60 running mid-pack right now. Jim, what are they talking about with that team?
Well, he's up to 13th right now, and this team is very excited about here at Talladega. Just 2 years ago, this young team had a shot at victory. With 2 laps to go, they led, but they ended up 5th. They got slipstream, so he's looking for lessons learned here on super speedways. He's right behind Bobby Gerhardt, a 6-time winner at Daytona and a winner here. They're riding comfortably now in that Buffalo Wings and Rings Dodge. They got more sponsorship backing because of the great start he's had this season. 4 straight top 10s. Only one other driver's done that, and he's sitting P3 in points and right behind Gerhardt where he wants to be. Let's check in with Wendy.
Thanks, Jim. The battle for the ARCA championship is already shaping up. For now, only 5 points separate our points leader, Steve Arpin, and second place, Justin Marks. On the racetrack, they're 2nd and 3rd. They both have won this season in ARCA, but neither have won at Talladega. But here's something that's interesting. The last 2 ARCA races at Talladega have been won by Justin Elgar and Justin Lofton. What does that mean for Justin Marks? Well, might mean something if you're superstitious, but we do know one thing's for sure. Justin Marks has a very fast race car, and he is fighting for that championship with Steve Arpin this year.
Thanks, Wendy. One of the things we're seeing right now in the ARCA Racing Series, they have the same rules as NASCAR. You can't go below the double yellow line to pass. We're seeing guys run down there, but they're not advancing their position.
Yeah, that's the key, is they want to stay as low as they can. They do not want anyone to get underneath them. So you see the guys are actually fudging with their left sides on that double yellow line.
Right now you're out there like Dakota, and you're just putting in laps. You go by and you see the scoreboard say lap 3 or 4, and you're just wishing that it was saying 3 or 4 to go, so you'd find out what was going to happen. You know, right now you're just putting in laps to get to the end of the race.
Brandon McReynolds in the number 6.
Brandon's being shown right now in the 15th position. What a nice young man. Been able to spend a little time with him since he was born. Been able to spend a little time with him.
Just his whole life.
Just his whole life, yeah. From maybe day 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see Dakota Armstrong with a little bit of a gap between himself and Justin Marks. That will get eliminated as they make their way back into the tri-oval. Bumping back here as they get 3 wide going through the tri-oval. On the inside, that's the 35 of Hal Martin.
Terry Jones, that 30 car, has a pretty good run on the outside. Patrick Shelter pulled up to get behind him. Now Terry's going to pull back to the bottom of the racetrack. Now we're seeing a little action.
7 laps complete. We're on lap number 8 of 94. Guys feeling out what their car will give them and where they need to be on this racetrack to make the moves. Dakota Armstrong has led since the drop of the green. Stay with us.